This is 6035 Media. Engage.
So, you closed your rings the other day.
I closed my rings yesterday.
Okay, that's good. How many days a week do you close your rings?
Well, I just got it. So, yesterday.
100% of the time.
Oh, yeah. Do you have an iPhone right? Or
Yeah.
Android? Okay,
I've
but you
got
close. But you can close your rings without.
I've never done it without the watch.
That's a newer feature because before you couldn't do that.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, I think
I
it's
never
like,
tried doing it.
Which iPhone do you have?
I have a new one. I don't
The 14?
remember. Yes, probably.
That's the new one. It's got the dynamic island.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think.
Okay. Because
I've got a new
Dynamic
one.
Island, yeah.
there's only one with the dynamic island
Oh.
so far.
No, I don't
The
have.
cutout.
Okay, I don't have the newest one.
Okay.
I have a newer one.
Okay. Yeah.
13.
I do have one with 3 lenses.
There you go.
Yeah.
That means
I think
you
it's
just
the
paid more.
12.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say 12 or 13.
Yeah, because the one with the 3 lenses is the big one.
Yeah, I do have the Max
Yeah.
for sure.
We're just gonna record there. So you closed the. So I'm used to closing it on my phone. I was gonna get the watch thing. The watch was like out of my budget, and so I just deal with it. So like I don't know, like 5-6 days a week, I'm doing the 300 calories, all the steps. I'm like most of the way today, and it's not like that much work, but I still have to walk to the bus terminal. I still have to walk around the bus terminal to wherever, and then I usually have to go to a third place in between. To hit 300. But it's interesting because I was out riding my bike this weekend and I spilled and that was great. My shoulder hurts. Oh, no. Anyway, but it I don't know how much it counts that because
Your arms aren't moving. Or your legs are moving.
They are, but yeah, exactly. The gyroscopes and stuff. Like I don't know how it's calculated because I biked 15 miles all in all, and it's like, hey, you did 600 calories. I'm like, no, that doesn't.
So
That's not right.
No,
because you can't do exercises on the phone, only on the watch.
yeah, but it still tries. It's still tracking
So like
something.
if you log like 20 minutes on a bike, does it like compute those calories or steps? Or
Well, you can't log it on the phone, I don't think.
I don't
You
know.
have to use a watch to log exercises.
Because Fitbit, you can do all the logging stuff and get really in depth. You can do treadmills. And the other thing is that, it's one thing to like, I'm riding a bike for 20 minutes. It's another thing, that's a hill, and I got to get
20 minutes,
for 20 minutes. I had to shift down and get.
It's
to
not checking your heart rate.
Right, exactly. Yeah, if it knew if I was in the danger zone, the whole
And it would
half
probably
the
tell
time.
you.
Exactly.
It would say your AFib or whatever. You got to go to the hospital.
It's like, please stop riding your bike. You are 3 miles from the nearest Penrose. Also, here's some web results. That's
Yeah.
just for giggles and stuff like that. But yeah, I didn't realize that the legacy loop around here, which is literally on the flag of the city, is incomplete. So on the north, because it's Shook's Run on the east side, it's the Pikes Peak Trail on the west side, and those are like tier 1, 10 to 12 foot concrete trails for the most part. And then on the north side, there's it's surface streets, there's some other stuff, but we were down in the by the railroad tracks with like loose rocks and stuff, and it was still a lot of ice and snow, so it was a real big pain in the butt to get through. And there was at least one of us in the group had fat bike, so he was like, "Oh yeah, no big deal." And then going up this really steep hill, like, But then on the south side, same thing. Like we cut through an old KOA campsite over by Las Vegas, and it's incomplete. It's just the trail ends, and then here's a ruddy sidewalk, and it's like, good luck.
Isn't there though like a trail that like runs from like south to north? Like it's like 20 miles.
Yeah,
and just
that's
cuts through?
the Pikes Peak Trail.
Okay, and that's the one that goes like near the railroad. Sorry, I'm like.
Yeah, you're danger zone there. You're in the zone. The Apple Watch is
ASMR.
telling you.
Yeah. Okay. So there is one that goes from south to north.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one I've run up and down so many times because I usually they'll race events. They'll stage because it's public access, so you don't have to pay for permits. But my complaint was that if there should be more racing events that actually take advantage of the city. But you have to close stuff. You have to hire cops, get the permits, all that stuff. So more and more, they're just using the trail. Yeah. Yeah. So the legacy loop is that it carves up. Basically, it follows I-25. And then there's there's the Shooks Run, which runs on the other side of downtown, north-south. But they don't connect really well. And that's the problem.
But it's on our city flag? I didn't even know our city had a flag.
Our city has a flag. It's on my cap. I didn't...
I knew our state
I didn't bring any crayons or anything. It's
I'm gonna do Pictionary with the flag.
Yeah, exactly. It's got the blue. It's white, and it's got a blue band around three corners, which represents the sky. The white represents the clear, crisp atmosphere, and then there's a hexagon on the left side that's surrounded by a green loop. I believe it is. That's the legacy loop, and then there's the mountain. Tava or Pikes Peak, and then the sun, and then there's three little trapezoids in it that represent gold and like mining, because that's how a lot of it started, is they're pulling gold from the hills. Cripple Creek, all that stuff.
It's just
Gold Hill Mesa and everything.
No, that's very different. But that's where they process, because Gold Hill. I mean, it's a gold hill. But
that's just where they process. Well, then why is there gold represented if we don't have gold in Colorado Springs?
Because that's where they brought the gold in, man. That's where people came here because as early in the gold rush. Because this used to be Kansas.
Okay, but I'm just saying, like why would you make it like self-represent that we're a gold city whenever we had nothing to do with gold except for processing it?
Yeah, boy, are you going to be upset when you find out the team colors of like every sport we have or every college.
Did you
that's
know
black
that all
and gold.
all that red isn't blood? Like no one's bleeding.
Might as well
in the
throw
Buccaneers.
some planes on our flag then too.
The only pirating that the Buccaneers are doing is like The Sixth Sense and HBO.
Okay,
that's pretty lame. All right,
this is lame. Right?
Yeah, let's start.
This is why I don't watch sports.
Hang on a second. Let's start the show. Hello, and welcome to Hot Takes and Streaming Breaks, the bi-weekly pop culture podcast brought to you by 6035 Media. I'm your host, reporter Nick Raven, and joining me in the studio, and I fixed that line, thank you, you're welcome, Kelly Karneski, guy who's seen too much TV. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay.
Good. Now that you know that there's gold in them hills.
Right? Well, see, I knew Gold Hill Mesa. So
Yeah.
Obviously gold, right?
Of course.
Lower Gold Camp Road.
Gold. And then
just putting things together here,
a little 2 + 2 action. You're the mathematician here. Account executive Victoria Constantino.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
I'm amazing.
Yes,
I'm here.
yes. Did you know that there was gold in the hills? There isn't, because it's been mined out. But that's a total...
Well, and that's where Fool's Gold came from. They were just really confused.
Wait, so we had Fool's Gold in Colorado Springs then?
I'm sure they did.
Oh, yeah.
That's what the triangles represent. Fool's Gold.
That's what all the sixth graders were all like, hey, man, you want some gold? And you're like, yeah, dude, I want to be rich. And they hand you some pyrite. And it's like...
Is that what that is?
That is.
Yeah.
You didn't know that? I learned that in 7th grade.
No, I stashed it away thinking it was real gold.
What? Okay. Before we get started here. For realsies, I used to think... This was like 2nd or 3rd grade. I used to think that everything that sparkled in like concrete and stuff was gold. So... a smart man or woman or whomever would go in there and just like chip out all the shiny stuff, and eventually they would have like a diamond or they'd have gold or something like that.
That's just how Minecraft works.
I know. I was just thinking the same thing.
You were just the pre-Minecraft 2nd grader.
I was born too early. Yeah. That's
Mm-hmm.
God.
He's having a revelation right now.
I know.
Right?
I'm thinking like, all I have to do is like 50 feet, and I've got like lapis lazuli, and then a little bit more, and I've got because there's coal like literally underneath our feet. We can make some torches, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and then
this is how Minecraft works.
This is we got to go punch a tree until we get sticks, and then
I'll let you do that by yourself.
By myself. That's how we get new stuff.
Sounds like that's how you get new stuff. I'm not punching any trees.
You only have to punch enough trees until you can make a wooden axe, which doesn't make any sense.
I mean, doesn't stone tools break stone? So
wood.
Well, I'm saying like in real life, don't we use stone tools to break?
But you don't start with stone. You start with wood.
In real life?
No. Also in Minecraft, when you punch a tree punch it floats there.
Just like real life.
Just like in real life. So if you don't knock out every single part of the trunk, it's just going to sit there and respawn.
Yeah.
Or whatever it does.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to talk about Chernobyl and The Last of Us Episode 5 because that's the one all three of us have seen.
Yes.
Yes.
I skipped 5 and just watched 6.
Oh, boy.
Great. Well, in that case, let's get to the news. God, you guys. I'm going to open this up. Number 1, the Super Bowl happened. Mm-hmm. Number 2. I didn't watch it.
I did watch it until I had to put my kid to bed, which was at the exact time that one of the teams won.
Okay.
So I missed the only important part, apparently.
I thought Brianna was important. I thought that was the most important part.
Yeah.
I don't know who Brianna is. Oh,
of course you do.
Rihanna. I thought you said Brianna.
Who's Brianna?
Rihanna.
Because didn't she announce that she was pregnant at there or something?
No,
She
everyone.
did.
Well, did she or did the agent come out? Because everyone's like, "What's going on with that belly right now?"
There is a lyric where she says, "I'm alive," and then she stroked her belly.
That's what I do.
It's pretty pointed. But I thought she was gorgeous. I thought she did a fantastic job, especially for being what looks like, I don't know, my guess is 5 months pregnant. Man, good for her.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's been confirmed. It's just my guess. So
I mean, you
It's a
have plenty of
podcast.
experience,
I have one experience.
that's enough.
I saw all of the backup dancers on TikTok. Like right afterwards, they were all posting like, "I was on the Super. I got to keep my jacket." Like I just saw all that, and so that's
I'd
how
do
I
it
know what they
too.
wore. So
If I was left shark, I would have kept my costume too.
yeah,
I would have fought for
they probably
it.
got sued.
Left shark. Wow, that's an ancient
That
reference.
that is a deep cut on hot. That is why you are here.
Hot
James
takes
Cameron
and-
has
James
been working very well today, so
and behaving so far.
so far. But now that I've said that,
Yeah,
everything's going to go to crap, and that's how it works. So the superb owl, amazing flight. Really glad that feathers everything. Beautiful eyes. That's great. Number 2, I'll have you read that, Victoria.
Alrighty.
And this is not an oops all gaming. I was very disciplined this time to not just do all gaming. Although we start with gaming.
well, no, we started with the Super Bowl.
Oh, that's true.
That's true.
That's still gaming.
Okay,
It's Madden.
Number 2, topic dose. Eurogamer. All Xbox PC games set for GeForce Now, including Call of Duty, if Microsoft buys Activision Blizzard. Microsoft has announced a deal with Nvidia to put all Xbox PC games on cloud service GeForce Now. This includes Call of Duty, if Microsoft's attempt to buy Activision Blizzard is successful. The announcement was made during a press conference in Brussels this evening that followed a hearing at the European Commission in which Microsoft made its case for the deal to regulators. Nvidia now supports this deal, Microsoft President Brad Smith told reporters. In a follow-up tweet, Xbox boss Phil Spencer. Have you ever said that out loud?
Xbox boss Phil Spencer?
Xbox boss Phil
Xbox
Spencer.
boss. Xbox boss and how much box could an Xbox box if an Xbox could Xbox? Yeah.
Phil Spencer said Microsoft had signed a 10-year agreement with Nvidia that will allow GeForce Now players to stream Xbox PC games as well as Activision Blizzard PC titles, including COD, following the acquisition.
Yeah, they're trying to.
All right.
Thank you. They're trying to make that acquisition happen still, and they're. It's the Europes. The Europes are like, no, wagging their finger. They're like, you cannot just be buying $70 billion companies left and right all willy nilly. Yeah.
so my question though is with GeForce Now, are those games free right now? Is that what's going on? Because I thought it was like they were beta testing and like certain things were free.
I don't even know.
So it sounds.
I should have done my research. Whatever.
It makes it sound like Microsoft's like, hey, we're just gonna let you have Call of Duty for free on PC through GeForce Now.
I don't know if it's a subscription service or something like that, because it doesn't make any monetary sense. Like you buy a video card and all of a sudden you get access to all these games on a streaming basis or something like that.
Yeah.
That I don't know.
Okay. I don't know that either.
I don't want to interject because I don't feel like I know enough about this to really speak on it, but I'm going to anyway because this is hot takes.
This is Hot Takes and Streaming Breaks, the show from 6035 Media.
I just know that we tried it at home, and we're very unsuccessful. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
I don't know. I cannot tell you why. I just remember it didn't work very well. And granted.
But what were the symptoms? Why was it bad?
It didn't work very well.
It didn't work very well. I want to say it was something like, you had to download the games to GeForce Now or something along those lines, and it was only like a very slim number of games. Take all this with a major grain of salt because I don't remember what I'm talking about.
5 seconds.
We were in there for 5 seconds. We're like, this sucks, and turned it right off. So
because that's what I
scientific
thought.
approach.
Yeah,
Well, I thought that's like when they
definitely.
were beta testing it. There was like some games that you could play for free. So that's
Yeah.
why I was real confused about the entire service.
It seems like they're
They just want you to sign up and they got your data and they're like, thanks, have fun.
we're going to Europe apparently.
Yeah.
well, and that's the European Union and Britain were like, hang on, you can't. As they're
Hang
sipping
on,
their
how
tea.
much is 70 billion in pounds?
Yeah, a lot less. I think it is right now. I don't want to ask Siri because it's going to become a freaking mess. But I think the big thing is they're just trying to get it available because right now Xbox and Xbox Game Pass games are only available through Game Pass. You have to own Game Pass. So this is one of their concessions. I'm sure it'll be one of several that are coming so that they can get this deal through is if you have a NVIDIA card.
Did we talk about this? Just make Game Pass available on PlayStation?
We talked about that in previous episodes.
Okay,
it's like because
so
that's what Microsoft's dream is. They don't make any consoles, and you just like
They
you have
just
your
own
Switch.
Game Pass.
They just own Game Pass and a whole bunch of studios and exclusive Netflix.
They're just trying to be. That's exactly
right.
what I was just gonna say.
But even then, they're like Phil's is like we're not really. It's not really the Netflix of gaming. We don't want to be because they don't want to be shoehorned in that kind of reputation.
God, who used to do that? Somebody used to do that where you could just rent games and stream it.
GameFly.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm thinking of.
Mm-hmm. I remember when we worked at Best Buy. This was 2003, 2000, or even earlier.
Wasn't 2003?
No, not they were streaming it, but they were doing you could rent them. Yeah, you could get the discs one or couple at a time or something like that, and they would send them and you send them back. And that back then that was revolutionary. Yeah, and it was for GameFly. Yeah, the gaming. So like you rent this game, you beat it, you send it back. And if you want to keep it, you pay whatever the used game rate is for the disc essentially because they're not shipping the.
But I think
plastic.
everybody just figured out that you could buy a used game from GameStop and return it within 30 days. Why would you need to use GameFly?
I think also Redbox started doing games too.
I think they did.
Yeah. I remember when Redbox came out, it's like, why does this company exist? Like, aren't we moving away from? But they've had plenty of room to wiggle around.
They're still there.
They're still there. They're still around every Walgreens on the planet.
Yeah.
And like every 7-Eleven.
Every 7-Eleven, you get that sunscreen. Someone's like lifting it up and trying to look at, is the Tom Cruise movie in here? Let's go.
Well, it's because they got that stuff where they were promoting, it's on DVD and Blu-ray before it's on streaming services. So,
Oh, yeah. I remember... I don't know if I told this on this show, but like there would be Redbox people who came into Best Buy and would buy out like 20 or 30 copies of a movie so that they could stock it at their thing, which is whatever, illegal in some way, but we'll take your money. Yeah, because they're for home distribution, home viewing only. So when you get one of those things, it's like,
do they make Blu-rays and stuff that are for commercial use?
Yeah, I think they actually say. I think
like for commercial use only stuff.
Yeah,
But
I think it's like less arty or something, so that when
it's just a silver disc.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, with a stamp on it, it's like 20th
and they charge
Century Studios
$100 per Bluray.
Actually, because I remember looking at some point someone had brought, I think it was on Reddit or something, but someone was talking about how copies for Blockbuster of movies would be like $100 because they were for commercial use. So they would just make it up in long term. So they didn't want people going over to, I don't know, Media Play or who's Walmart, Kmart, and just buying VHS copies. And Sears used to sell software. I remember that. That was the only cool part of Sears is you'd have the Virtual Boy. This is dating me.
Wow.
Virtual Boy demo. Yeah, that's the only time I ever saw one of those. And then you'd have the not VHS, software. You'd have So
then you'd go to
games.
Best Buy in Circuit City existed back then. People would go to those places, right?
Yeah. Best Buy was around.
Yeah.
Remember Crossroads
It is
Mall?
still around.
Yeah, Crossroads Mall. They would have the Sears there at the Crossroads Mall, which is now torn down. And then the Best Buy was right next to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't there like FYE and stuff like that?
Oh
that
my
people went to?
goodness.
Yeah. Don't you remember Sam Goody?
Yeah, Sam Goody.
Don't you
But
remember?
that was just music.
Don't you
wasn't it?
remember?
Don't you remember? Don't you have a brain? Have you lived?
You go to Sam Goody and then Hot Topic.
Yeah, and you have the tall CD cases too, or it was the smaller cases, but they'd have the big white
Yeah, so
clamshell
it
security
stood up
cases
and everything, and
Yeah,
the shelves.
so you're like,
Yeah.
and they were narrower. It's not like vinyl. They didn't make the
Right.
sound. No,
Yeah.
man.
I remember when Entertainment used to be Media Play.
I do too.
Physically. When it physically used to be Media Play.
I do too. That's
Here it was Media Play before? Here it was?
Yeah. The one in Citadel Crossing used
In
to
fact-
be Media Play. They still have a lot of the stuff on the walls.
We've talked about it, but a lot of the fixtures, and I think it's slowly evolving, a lot of the fixtures, especially when they started, were Media Play fixtures, old Media Play fixtures. They just bought the thing and all the stuff that was in it. And just
a lot of it still is, totally.
Yeah.
I was actually in there a couple weeks ago, and I was like, wow, this has not changed.
Still dark in there?
Oh, yeah. I can tell you Entertainment stories.
Ooh,
I worked there when I was in high school.
Yeah.
there you go.
So, yeah.
Entertainment. I'm surprised. I'm not in a negative way, but like I'm kind of surprised that model has really worked out for them for
They had folks there still.
Yeah.
I built those CD racks that are
Yes.
now holding video games, I think.
But that was the thing about Best Buy is you'd have project teams come in every year and like move stuff around or
Yeah,
whatever.
reset all the shelves and everything.
Yeah, you gotta switch the plano, man. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, let's go to the next one. Number 3. The one at the bottom.
Oh, okay. There's a number 3.
Yeah, there's. I made it easy.
These are both from Eurogamer. Did you just
Yeah.
go to Eurogamer today?
Yep, exactly. I'm like, I need to cut this real quick. This little research jaunt here.
Okay. So this is original Star Fox developers celebrate its 30th anniversary. So Star Fox was released for the Super Famicom in Japan on the 21st of February, 1993. Of course, this is Eurogamer.
Yeah, I know.
right?
Yeah, the Euro dates.
Yeah, followed by releases in North America and Europe later in the year as last year.
Yes.
Dang. We just got Star Fox and they're celebrating 30
I
years.
know, exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's
Yeah. So the game was lauded for its 3D polygonal graphics.
Polygonal.
Oh. Okay, polygonal. See, it doesn't matter. It's got polygons. Graphics using Super FX chip. Thought impossible on Nintendo's 16-bit machine.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's
the whole
it.
thing. Okay.
Yeah, I do them so you don't have to do that. It's a pain in the butt, I tell you what. Star Fox. They
Yeah,
had
do a barrel roll.
Yeah, I'm glad that's the one thing that survived
Wow.
after 30 years. I remember when that they had the commercials. They had the live action like dude in like a
Star Fox.
the Star
He was
Fox.
the first furry.
He was the.
Wow.
They started it.
It's like I want to play this 10 frames per second 3D game and also cosplay as the cartoon inside.
Yeah.
That's great. I remember that was mind-blowing because it was 3D. It was before the 3DO, or maybe right around the time the 3DO came out. Obviously, there were like 3D games on the PC. The PlayStation was still 2 years out, or a year out if you were in Japan. But that was like the preview of what games could look like. And we had the mini SNES, where they emulated it, and they emulated it so well that it still ran like garbage. But back then, you're not like, man, I don't care about this unless it's running 8K 120. You know what I'm saying? Like 3D HDR.
You just cared that it was a game that you could play.
Yeah. And the kids who had the cool home theater setups, when you would die, it'd be the dun 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 dun, and it'd be it'd be this explosion, and it would be a Doppler, and it would be, so you just hear it around, and it's like, oh my, I really died. That was amazing. I didn't intentionally die, but when you did, it was an event, and I remember that was like so cinematic. But you had this tiny tube TV or whatever, and it was running 10, 25 frames per second. There were parts where you're definitely like, I'm seeing every single frame as it's being drawn.
But we didn't know that. We didn't know.
Yeah.
Sure.
That was normal.
Which is weird because there were definitely games that were running at like 30 or 60 frames per second that you had a ready comparison to, but we weren't thinking about games that way.
Yeah, it's true. I think like Contra, I think I remember playing that and it'd slow down at like when there's a lot of stuff on the screen.
Yeah.
I think that was like the first time I ever noticed frame rate.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was called. It's just like, why is it going slow?
Yeah, I remember the big thing with the frame rate was I didn't really notice that until I would like getting to PC gaming, especially around the turn of the century when they were starting to do like 3D accelerators and stuff like that. So you'd have like the software render, and just the game would struggle on your machine. And that was the cool thing about consoles, is that they would design for the hardware so it was a really consistent thing. And on the PC, you could have 1024 by 768, but good luck maintaining that for any period of time, because antivirus is now running in the background, and you knew exactly when antivirus started running in the background. But so there were higher highs, but the lows were so much lower on the PC. And I remember that was the cool thing about consoles. It just ran like Mario 64.
Oh yeah,
ran silky smooth.
Yeah,
but you try and run that on the PC, and it was like trash.
I will say that is my only regret too recently.
What?
Becoming a PC person.
Really?
Is that I miss just not having to worry about it. You just put in a game and it works.
Yeah.
I do miss that aspect of it, and that's why sometimes I decide to play, an old Xbox 360 game on my recent one. It's just, sometimes it's nice to just be able to not worry about that kind of stuff.
I know.
Yeah, no, I like
100%.
Because I built, a computer years ago, and like the first thing I fired up was Destiny 2, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like trying to figure out like why is it lagging, and I'm like adjusting all the resolutions, all the frame rates. I'm like, it just works on my Xbox.
I know.
Yeah. And then same thing with Call of Duty. Like I play on like whatever veteran or whatever, and like every single time I'm playing single player, it'd get to like certain points and the game would just lag, and then I would die because I'm in the middle of the computer.
Yeah,
and the
hang on.
Cheats. Yeah.
Let me calculate all of the physics right now. Hang on.
Right.
Hang on. Oh, sorry, buddy, you died.
Yeah, and like I would drop all the like as much as I can down on like graphics and everything, and I've got all the stats running so I can try to see, is there a spike in the CPU when this is happening?
Yeah.
What's going on? That's causing I could never figure it
Update
out.
your drivers, bro.
I did it all.
You know what?
Why
don't you play on the cloud?
I bet you, I should have. Maybe I should have used GeForce Now.
You should. I don't know if it's even on. It has to be. Destiny has to be everywhere.
Oh, I don't. I was talking about Call of Duty.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I just had issues with Destiny.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean,
those were like the last two PC games that I really was like trying to get into. Like those were my let me move away from console and get into PC, and they both just failed me.
It just didn't.
It was like, dang, this is what PC gaming is all about.
Yeah.
This is fun.
That's why the people who are really into it are the ones who have spent way too much money on it. It's like they have to justify their
This is why people only play Fortnite.
Yeah.
That's why
And
people
Minecraft.
only play Fortnite.
Yeah.
Only play Fortnite.
Yeah.
Or
that's all.
Minecraft.
Or Minecraft.
Or Minecraft. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Counter-Strike. Because those are the
Only
only
adults
games-
do that.
Those are the only games that run without having issues.
Kids don't play.
I did just download like 2 weeks ago Dante's Inferno to my Xbox.
You were I remember you were talking about that.
I have this weird nostalgia for it, and I cannot explain why. This game is bonkers, just off the wall. Like, every sort of disturbing imagery you can come up with around that concept, they threw in there.
And that's an EA game. And EA,
is it? Yeah.
yes.
I don't even remember. Gosh.
That was from that era when they used to do the little the dial on the bottom with the
Yes.
crescent, with the artwork and stuff that was consistent from game to game, which I thought was pretty cool. Except EA is a terrible company, but whatever, whatever. So Star Fox,
Anyway, Star Fox.
Star Fox. I didn't play any of the subsequent ones. I was really briefly, which is not going to be brief at all. I remember Star Fox 2 was coming out. It was supposed to be out in August of '95. It was like my most anticipated game because I love Star Fox so much, and it was going to be like open world. Now we call it a roguelite because that's what it came out to be, and it was going to be co-op, and it was going to have all these features, and it's like, oh my god! And EGM did a full preview of the entire game end to end, and like showed off all the locations, and it was like 80% done. And I was like, when's it coming out? When's it coming? And I remember going to Toys R Us, and I was
Remember Toys R Us?
remember Toys R Us, them KB toys, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the lady I went to the customer service counter, and the lady went back to her computer in the manager's cube and looked it up, and it's like, yeah, we don't have that in our listing anymore. And it was like, oh no. And I didn't the gravity didn't really hit until a good while later. And then because they didn't release it. They never released it. Never ever released it because Star Fox 64 was coming out like a year later, and they wanted to sell N64s.
Right.
So they took it, and it was done. It was done. It was ready to go and be put on cartridges. So they put it on the mini SNES a couple years back. And so that's the game finally released in 2019 or whatever, 2018, I think. Did not like that game. Did not like that game at all. I could play Star Fox.
30-year wait wasn't worth it?
No, not at all. Should have stayed buried. They also shadow dropped Metroid Prime remaster on Switch, which if I had a Switch, I would totally be into that.
Metroid Prime's the 3D one or the first person one? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was when they released on a GameCube.
Okay.
Yeah. So
This is when I get to say, it's before my time.
The only Metroid I played was
Super Metroid.
Yeah, Super Metroid. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it.
I remember I went over to your house. This is old school. You would play the entire game in one sitting.
Did I really?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
It's
I'm
like,
good.
well, yeah, I know, man.
I didn't even know.
Wow.
And I remember playing it years later. I played it on that mini SNES, and it's like, this game sucks, but I'm going to keep playing.
What do you mean the game sucks?
No, it wasn't sucked. It was just like I'd gotten into a really tough chamber or something. It's like, I don't want to deal with this.
You're just not good at it.
I'm going to play Donkey Kong. That's pretty accurate, but I played Donkey Kong Country. That game's not as good as it used to be.
Yeah, I know.
It maybe wasn't that good to be.
Yeah, I know, right?
Shigeru Miyamoto didn't like Donkey Kong Country that much. That's why he was a big fan of Yoshi's Island, which is the best Mario game ever made. Hot takes and streaming breaks.
In the Donkey Kong, it was too hard.
It was all timing. It is like 99% timing.
Yeah.
You're like sitting there waiting for the barrels to go up and down.
Everything was timing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what made it
That
suck.
game has so many skills. Anyway, Star Fox.
You can keep looking over to me, but my reference for Star Fox and Metroid are both Super Smash Brothers.
Hey.
All right. I guess that's fine. Well, you can reference this one, number 4 at the top there.
Is it Eurogamer?
Yeah.
Eurogamer. No, I'm just Oh, what? I didn't know this. Okay.
Uh-huh. That's why it's the news.
It is the news. I'm really hyping this up.
Yes. All right,
Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this?
Now I'm gonna. All right, here we go.
All right.
All right.
This is from Variety.
Yeah. Eurogamer.
Zach Galifianakis. I'm just really building it up.
Yeah.
Joins Disney's live action. Live action.
Uh-huh.
Lilo and Stitch movie.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Star Wars.
Hey, I'm
so glad I built
Han
that
Solo.
up for you.
We don't want Aldrin Ehrenbach, who played him in Solo. We're gonna put Zach Galifianakis as Han Solo.
Nice. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, Disney's live-action Lilo and Stitch movie is beginning to shape up with the casting of Zach Galifianakis. Am I saying his name
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yeah, you got it.
That's how I've heard it, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Galifianakis takes on an undisclosed role in the new movie, which is planned for release on Disney+. Dean Fleischer Camp, that's a name, who's... Oh, I'm doing a terrible job today. Dean Fleischerkamp, who's Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, is nominated for Best Animated Feature at the upcoming 95th Academy Awards, is directing the adaptation from a script by, oh God.
I don't remember the name, but I
Okay, I'm gonna try.
You're gonna do it.
I'm gonna try, and I'm sorry, Mr. K. Bright. Chris Kekaniokalani Bright.
Kakiono Kalani?
Yes,
Okay.
I think.
I think so too.
I tried.
Okay.
That's my attempt.
Yeah.
I'm excited for a Lilo and Stitch movie. This is really misplaced, and I shouldn't be. It's probably going to be awful, but I'm excited.
I'm just real confused where Zach Galifianakis comes in to play on a kids movie.
He's I didn't put it in here, but he's going to be they don't know what character. This is like a follow-up to the movie, to the original.
Follow-up? There's already a sequel.
But it was like direct to DVD, right?
Probably.
Uh-huh.
Don't look at me like that.
Yes, I can. That's why I gave this to you.
I have probably seen Lilo and Stitch more recently than you two, is my guess.
I have seen half of Lilo and Stitch.
I've seen maybe 10 minutes of it.
I'm not bagging on it. I'm just saying I've only seen half.
Do I have to lecture you on Lilo? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, on Hawaiian and Elvis and all that stuff.
Hawaiian roller coaster ride. See, y'all went off on Star Fox. I can go off on Lilo and Stitch.
Okay, that's fine.
It's a great movie. It's
Okay.
so sweet and adorable, and a really interesting timing with the Elvis movie that just came out. That's nominated for Oscars. This movie's also very much about Elvis.
Yeah.
Well, not the person, but the music.
Right.
So.
Also, both movies, about 24 frames per second, sound.
Yeah.
What do you think?
This would be fun.
Have you seen any of these live action? I have not seen a single one of these live action remakes.
Oh.
Like The Lion King and stuff?
Right. Yeah. Beauty and the Beast.
I think I've seen all of them except for Cinderella.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. I totally forgot that.
I think that was one of the earliest ones.
Because that was
Not
a
the
Kenneth
first.
Branagh directed that one. Yeah, which is why I know that one. And otherwise,
They're almost all garbage.
yeah.
And I want to say almost all because there's redeeming factors of all of them.
Yeah.
Like either the costuming's great or, the visuals are great. There's always like something good about all of these. I am stupid excited for the Little Mermaid remake that's coming out, I think in May. I want to say May. Just because it looks gorgeous and she's my favorite Disney princess. She is the best one.
It's not Princess Leia now?
Animated Disney princess.
Okay.
It's live action, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
now
it's
she is-
live action.
Okay, so we've got a hybrid approach here. Okay.
I think, I don't know, Lilo and Stitch could be a really good adaptation because it's all mostly real. If they shoot it in Hawaii, it takes place in Hawaii.
What is Stitch? What is he?
He's an alien. He's an alien.
And like the
that crash
governments are
lands
after him.
crash lands in Hawaii,
G-men.
makes friends with a little 6-year-old girl, and hijinks ensue.
All right, so here's the pitch. Here's the pitch. All right. Zach Galifianakis is Stitch in a giant costume.
But it would be funny, except that he's supposed to be a little cute doggy.
They shrink him digitally.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I take it back. I bet he is Stitch.
Yeah.
I bet he is. I bet he can do the voice.
Yeah, I can't do his accent or what he does, but like imagine that, but as Stitch.
I am wondering who did the original Stitch voice, though, and why they wouldn't bring them back unless they've passed away or something.
Maybe they did. Maybe they are. Honestly.
Maybe.
Because
maybe he's acting it and someone else is voicing it. I don't know. But there really isn't another good character besides one of the aliens for him to be. So I don't know. And it would be a very weird choice for Disney to not pick at least Hawaiian actors to play.
That would make a lot of
characters. Disney has gotten at least past that hurdle.
Have they?
Well, Moana.
Okay.
Moana.
But that's not live action.
No, but all the
but it will
voice
be.
actors are from Islander descent.
Phoenician, and all that. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the lead singer of Faith No More who does all the weird animal and alien voices in video games and stuff like that, and I have no idea why that name is escaping me.
Shoot, what's his name? No.
No.
You know who I'm talking about.
I don't.
He's in Firefly.
Oh, Alan Tudyk.
Yeah, Alan
Yeah.
Tudyk. I wonder why he wouldn't be in Lilo and Stitch.
I don't know.
Because he plays Hey Hey in
Who's
Moana.
the lead singer of Faith No More? Courtney Love is not. God, no! This is gonna ruin me. Anyway, well, that's gonna have to be. You're just gonna have to leave who that person is in the comments or whatever. But he does like all that, like all that kind of voice acting and stuff. He was in the dark. He was the darkness in the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
He does all the weird voices. Anyway, great story. Glad I could tell it.
Wow.
Here's the last one. This is definitely a Kelly story right here.
Okay. This is from Platformer.
Yes.
Okay.
Not Eurogamer.
Yeah, not Eurogamer.
Yeah.
It says Elon Musk fires a top Twitter engineer over his declining view count. Wait, what? Okay. Okay. It says,
Just pause on
this
that.
is ridiculous, he said. According to multiple sources with direct knowledge of the meeting, I have more than 100 million followers, and I'm only getting tens of thousands of impressions. One of the company's two remaining principal engineers offered a possible explanation for Musk's declining reach. Just under a year after the Tesla CEO made his surprise offer to buy Twitter for $44 billion, public interest in his antics is waning. Employees showed Musk internal data regarding engagement with his account, along with a Google Trends chart. Last April, they told him Musk was at peak popularity in search rankings, indicated by a score of 100. Today, he's at a score of 9. Engineers have previously investigated whether Musk's reach had somehow been artificially restricted, but found no evidence that the algorithm was biased against him. Musk did not take the news well. You're fired, Musk told the engineer. Platform is withholding the engineer's name in light of the harassment Musk has directed at former Twitter employees. Like he doesn't know who he fired? Like he doesn't look at that and say, wait, I only fired one engineer last week over this.
See, yeah. I remember exactly why I fired. Like, I don't know. I just kind of looked at him weird, and he's just like, fired. You're gone.
Yeah.
I think, you just fire so many people.
Musk tweets every freaking day because that's all recommends.
I think there was a point where if you set was it the for you or I think it was like the for you, like he, like his tweets were just artificially being inserted, every single one, into so many people's feeds, so that he could do that. And another part of this story, it's a great story, was it's 7 weeks ago, I guess now 8, they started introducing the number of views on each tweet. That's relatively, I thought that was always there, but it wasn't. And apparently that's been a signpost that the fact that like engagement is slowing down. They said it was like down 9% since.
Wait, I didn't realize that there's number of views per tweet. Is it
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, see, like I said, I don't go on social media at all.
Well, but we can follow you.
You're there.
You're there.
I'm just like really surprised. I'm gonna have to go back and look at my engagement.
Yeah, you
see how
should.
popular
Maybe you
I
could
am.
fire someone too.
Yeah,
I know, right?
Fire an engineer. Fire a Twitter engineer. That's
Oh my
$10
gosh.
a month. You can fire a Twitter
That's
engineer.
what Twitter Blue gets you.
Yeah, that's Twitter Red.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Spicy yellow. That's where we going. Yeah, it's a trash fire. I was glad to see kind of an update. Like, you're watching the dumpster fire and you see the Molotov go in there, and there's obviously like stuff in there, and it sits in there for a while, and flames, and you're kind of like, I'm just gonna let this go for a bit, but eventually you hear like a pop or something because it hits I don't know, styrofoam or whatever, melts that, and you're like, I got to check on that dumpster, see how that's going. That's what Twitter is right now. It's
What's going on over there?
Yeah, why is it smelling so strange?
Over there.
I'm surprised you didn't include that Facebook's going to start charging now. Like all of the old people spreading misinformation for years and years are finally right. I was like, now they're going to be like, I told you 10 years ago that they were going to start charging, and look,
we
now
can
they are right.
we can
I told them
cover.
they don't have rights to my photos.
Oh yeah, copy and paste. Yes.
Yeah.
Copy and paste this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Facebook, aka DBA Meta, does not own any rights to my personal photos. Copy and paste this, share it to everyone,
Yeah.
protect your stuff. That's the chain email stuff Dad would send.
I mean, but the fact that Facebook made them right now, like everything else that they did is obviously Correct. Yeah.
So I didn't include it, and that's a good thing to bring up. But we're still in the 2-week window where they can unscrew it up and remove it and be like, no, that's a bad idea. And I looked at Mark Zuckerberg's post popped up on my news feed, and like the second highest emoji was the laugh, and then he replied to someone who's talking about, you're basically fleecing us, Zuck, and he's like, no, it's not how that works, and then like the number one was a laugh, so then it was like 5,400 responses, so I don't know.
They're not going to backtrack, because I helped spark that by buying Twitter Blue.
Why did you do it?
It's because I didn't want to lose my username. That was like Musk was threatening that.
Because you weren't posting enough?
Yeah.
Well, you've got a good username.
Yeah,
you do.
I got an OG.
But you had to fight for it, though.
I did have to fight for it.
You fought for it so hard and then didn't even use it.
I do use it. Just
for what?
For tweeting.
For when?
Once a year. Those tweets are gold. Those have millions of engagement, obviously.
You're going to look at them and be like 26, 28, That's $8 a month. You're paying it. All right.
I'm not going to keep paying it forever. Until Elon doesn't come back and say that he's going to steal my username back.
Oh, I was going to
auction it.
I thought you were going to do the long game of like, well, I'm not going to pay for it forever because eventually the oceans have to boil away,
Eventually.
Yeah,
I'm going to die eventually, and then I will stop paying for it.
Yeah. That's...
No, I'll write that in my will that I continue paying for Twitter as long as it exists.
Someone does.
As long as
Nick
has
does.
to pay for it.
Nick has to pay for your Twitter Blue.
Yeah. Until Twitter's no more.
Because I have said that I'm living till 116. I want to see the 22nd century.
Uh-huh.
I want to be the old. Okay. The other day, back in my day, I was actually thinking, I would be okay if it was just my head in a jar. At that point, like Futurama style. And I'm just kind of floating around, and everyone's like, what's it like to be old? And I'm like, I hate it. And everyone's like, ah, ha, 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 ha.
That's what's going to happen, too.
Yeah, because men don't get that old.
Yeah.
Women do.
It's true.
You're
welcome.
Yep. Yep. And places that aren't America, because everything
Usually.
about here is not great about living that long.
Wah, wah. That's what we need our soundboard for.
I know. No, that's where we go. The Seinfeld. We're gonna figure that out. I'm gonna surprise Dave Gardner one day. I'm just gonna have those loaded on there. Say, hey Dave, press a orange there, and it's
Can you have the Frasier theme song on one of them? Just the tossed salad and scrambled eggs part.
Yes, that'd be
Just that part.
Yes. That would be amazing. And then the other one is like the Simpsons theme. We've talked about this. We have to come up with a short list of stuff.
Yeah.
We can do it.
Things.
We have 8 things. If you have 8 things that we load onto this thing, we've already talked about Duke Nukem Balls of Steel. We've talked about this. We've talked about all the stuff. 2 fart sounds. Because you just have to. Howard Stern. It's just how it works. Let's get to the main event. Yeah, the reggaeton horns. Yeah, that's what we do. We're getting into the next segment. Here we go. So, that was really close there. The main event today. Before we really got into this, it was Apple TV trailer, Apple TV Plus. I believe that's the name of the service.
Yes.
That is the name of the service. They dropped the trailer for Tetris. Yes. Did you see it?
Yes.
Yeah, doesn't that look cool?
This is hot takes.
Okay, what's your hot take?
My hot takes is that movie has no idea what tone it is.
Sure. Yeah.
I just kept looking at it like I was confused. The problem is I like the story. So I'm just like, I'm confused. I'm having a good time. I just don't understand what kind of good time I'm supposed to have right now.
You're going to have the best good time.
I guess.
Yeah, because the people who are curating Apple TV, that is so many words. Apple TV.
Apple TV Plus.
That's so many. But it's 4 syllables. 5. 5 syllables. Netflix, Hulu, Apple TV Plus on your devices everywhere. That's 95 syllables right there.
Yeah.
Have you seen it? The trailer? It's great.
Yeah.
Except it's weird.
It is weird.
but it's great.
But it's great?
But it's great. But it's weird. So it's
We should tell them what it's about.
yeah. So this is the real story of how they got the rights to it, because it was developed by Alexei Pajitnov, and he was working for the Soviet research something or another in Moscow. Now, because it was communist Russia back then, Soviet Union, they didn't really have like copyright and stuff like that. Everything was owned by the state.
Yeah.
Exactly. Soviet Union.
Soviet Union.
Yeah, exactly. Das Vidanya. Yes. And so Hank Rogers is this entrepreneur. I think he's based out of Hawaii or something. He's like, I want this game, and I think he goes to Nintendo or something, because they showed in the trailer too. They're like, we've got this handheld that's coming out called the Game Boy, and there's like, let's get this together. So Hank Rogers goes to Soviet Union, Russia, Moscow, to talk to them about getting the rights to Tetris from the state of the Soviet Union. And there was a BBC documentary a number of years, like 2004 or something. It's amazing. Go find, I think it's out on YouTube. You can just watch it. It's incredible. And this is like a retelling of it. And I was following up to the point in the trailer where they just start, like, there's like car chases and stuff like that, and like manic. It looks like crime action, and like, do you know what they do to Americans in Russia? And they're like slamming faces against stuff, and it's like,
this is a classic case of the trailer people may not have been communicating with the movie people very well.
We got the dailies. This is gonna look. We're gonna,
because it looks like a lot of fun.
It does,
and it looks like it's action packed, but it's also very serious political atmosphere.
Yeah,
but it's also about Tetris, and also the final countdown, I think, is playing in the background.
Yes, the final. Yeah.
So it's a little up and downy, but I do have the feeling it's just how the trailer.
You know, now that you bring that up, that actually reminds me of like Ready Player One. And just the mood they kind of set with that, but without the 20 billion gallons of CGI painted into each frame. That's the kind of vibe. Because this happened in like 88 or 87 or 88 or something like that. So right around when that would have been a thing. So yeah, the Tetris trailer. I'm interested. I don't remember when it's out though. Also,
I want to say summer, but I
that makes sense. Also, there was no trailer. We're just going to keep pushing off this main event thing. There's no trailer, but there is a poster and reviews now, because it did go to film festivals, but Blackberry, starring Jay Baruchel. Jay Baruchel. He's a great actor. He loves acting so much that he wanted to be one of the co-CEOs of Blackberry.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, so he's one of the, and then the other, because there was two.
You've never heard of the Jay show?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You have never heard of Jay Baruchel?
God, no.
Oh, you should. He's great. He was in This Is the End and Out of His League, and like a couple other comedies.
I haven't seen This Is the End in a long, long time.
He was the other guy. Because of Seth Rogen and him. Okay.
Yeah,
great.
And Seth Rogen is the one that matters.
It just sounds exactly like him. That's just exactly how it sounds like. Anyway, this is great. So BlackBerry was led by two CEOs. One of them is played by Jerry Bichel. The other one is played by Glenn Howerton of Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Hold on, but I'm confused. Jay Baruchel in real life wanted to be the BlackBerry CEO, or
no? But he's playing him.
Okay,
yeah. But I'm sure at some point Glenn isn't, but Jay is Canadian. Directors are Canadian. It's like a Canadian production, and it was a Canadian company because it was based out of Ottawa, if I remember right.
Out of BlackBerry.
Yeah, the BlackBerry
Canada.
Yeah, BlackBerry Canada, which used to be Research in Motion. And you remember who came up with the name? BlackBerry.
Okay.
Lexicon did.
What?
Yeah, because it was on a Gimlet podcast. You told me about it.
I'm sure I did.
Yeah. Anyway.
We'll let you be real excited about this one.
I really want to see Dennis from It's Always Sunny, because he shaved his hair down.
Oh my god.
So yeah, so that he did. So, yeah, and apparently he gets really yelly in the movie. So. Yeah, I'm excited for that.
I need physical buttons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's got to work.
We need group messaging.
Apparently, Michael Ironside is in it too. He's Canadian too. Yeah. Anyway,
Let's just start listing all the Canadians we know.
Right.
Justin
Ryan
Bieber.
Reynolds.
Tom Green.
Done. We're done.
Celine Dion, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
She's Quebecois. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought she was from France. I literally thought growing up that she was from France. And it's like, no, there's another France. And it's in your backyard. So this week, we're going to get to The Last of Us, but I want to talk about Chernobyl first. Because this is how content works. I have to save the good stuff for the very end. That's how it works. So this week I had access. I'm going to watch Chernobyl because I've wanted to see it forever. This is the same writer as The Last of Us, Craig Mazin. And I went on his Wikipedia profile and did not realize that. I have no idea how this guy came out of nowhere. Do you know what he did before Chernobyl and all that?
I don't remember, but I'll let you finish before I say one.
Scary Movie 3 and 4.
He wrote those?
Yeah, and superhero movie.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Like the bad ones that no one likes.
Oh, that is so funny.
Yeah. Like, how did this dude go from that to Chernobyl, writing this epic story about this terrible Soviet nuclear disaster that is critically acclaimed, and now The Last of Us? And it looks like
good for him.
Level
for
up.
him.
He put all his points in that talent tree, and he was like, "We're going for it." It's a 5-part series, HBO Max. It tells the story of the 1986 Chernobyl nuclear explosion at Reactor 4. It is haunting. It is terrifying. It reminds me of growing up because I was instilled with the fear of nuclear hellfire and all of the stuff that came with it. So when they're showing people's faces sloughing off, and they've been in the hospital for a while and they just look like an inflated pizza, it's terrifying. Like one of the people, the camera wasn't even looking at them because she said that he had no face anymore because of the radiation and the stuff that they were just literally throwing men at this problem, this explosion that they created because the reactor design was flawed. I'm spoiling everything. The reactor design was flawed.
He's spoiling this real life event for you.
Exactly. Spoilers for this 40-year-old thing that happened. Yeah. 36 now, right?
Yeah,
I was alive when this happened.
How old were you?
2.
Okay.
I was 2 years old. I was born in the year of Aldous Huxley, 84. Or Orwell.
Orwell is a little bit better,
World.
yeah.
Brave New World. Sorry. Get my dystopias mixed up. I didn't read either, so.
Oh, I've read 1984.
Oh, well.
Honestly, and I read it for the first time as an adult, and I really enjoyed it. So.
Yeah? So you saw Chernobyl, right?
So yes, I've seen Chernobyl. I love Chernobyl, and I love Craig Mazin. Speaking of Twitter, he's great on Twitter, and he will talk to you on Twitter, and has talked to me on Twitter. And
he's a real
amazing.
human being.
He's a real life human being
You should ask
with
him
a
about
real life
Scary
soul.
Movie 3 and 4.
Oh my God, now I want to, right? So I watched Chernobyl when it came out, and I also watched or listened to the I guess paired up podcasts that they did along with it, and I think it was, if not the first, one of the first that HBO was doing where they actually talk to the folks while the new episodes are dropping. Mm-hmm. And it is absolutely worth a listen because they get to talk about, of course, all of the concessions they had to make for making this into a show. Like, this one female character didn't actually exist on her own.
She was a composite.
She was a composite of all of these other mostly female scientists that got together and had these conversations, but not entirely. So they talk about all the concessions that they make and how difficult it was to make this show and how accurate it is. You're right, as far as visually how accurate it is. I was born after Chernobyl. I was born in 1990. Oh. So I've just heard aftermath stories. There's something so striking about how real that show looks that I've seen it now multiple times, and it gets me every time. When the guys are going down through the water to turn off the sewers, when they're rushing onto the roof, I don't even remember what they were doing.
When they have to brush the graphite off because it's so intense. entirely
Yes.
radiated.
And that scene in particular, what I do remember is that the scene is the exact same amount of time that they really did spend up there. So
90
you get
seconds.
the actual amount of time that they were around there. And it is heartbreaking. And if you've seen the first, 2 episodes, you think, Kelly?
It's like the first...
Well, I don't know if you remember it, but there is a scene where there's all these families on a bridge in the city of Chernobyl watching the incident. And they're showing mothers and children and fathers. And they're all hanging out just like watching a fireworks show, because what else would anybody else do? It was so human that when I found out Craig Mazin was making The Last of Us, I was like, oh yeah, he's absolutely perfect. And so to find out that he did a Scary Movie, I am really confused.
Yeah, it was a shock to me as well. That scene in particular, because they have to clear the roof. They're like, we cannot. Everyone's moving around in helicopters, and they're like, if you put yourself over the core, you're dead. And like
You're just dead. Yeah.
You're dead.
There's no
and
option.
There is one creative liberty, because in the third episode or something, they're like, we need to drop sand and boron on the fire so we can put it out, which they turn out later is like probably didn't cause the fire to go out, but they have to drop 5,000 pounds of sand by helicopter in shifts, and the first one that goes in, it's like, you can't do that, you're in the perimeter, and it like spirals out, and it's like every action movie where the helicopter falls apart and dies and everyone's dead, but it didn't happen. So it's like, oh, okay. So there's a little tongue-in-cheek, like, okay, but it, like 80 to 90%.
It gets the point, and it gets the emotion that goes around that these people, literally had no idea what they were getting into.
Yeah.
Vast majority of them had no idea what they were getting
Even
into.
the people who were running the plant.
Yeah, and it was just so much more of a human story than it was even about a disaster. It was how people work together, how governments work together, commentary on both the Russian government and the American government and the global political environment. It was a commentary on all of these things. And it's so well done. And towards the end, they're working on a court case. I think it was a court case.
Yeah.
And the
there's
lead
a show trial, they say.
Yeah, there's a show trial, and they're explaining basically using props how this ended up happening, how it was both a perfect storm and entirely preventable at the same time. And it is so well done. Any layperson can understand exactly what happened in this scene. And
you may have to watch it twice, but
and it gives you time. And I love this show. It is in one of my top favorites. I haven't watched it in a while, but I might have to now. And watch Scary Movie. I'm going to end on this every time. And watch Scary Movie. 3 and 4 or whatever.
Yeah, not the Wayans ones, but the latter ones. The heartbreaking one for me is one you didn't see, and that's episode 4, when Pete Keegan, I think is his name. He was the cut Joker from the new Batman movie. He's Pavel in here.
Oh, Barry Keoghan. Yes.
Yes, exactly. And he was in
he's in Banshees of Inisherin.
Yep.
And he's nominated for an Oscar.
Well, there you go. Starred on Chernobyl, you end up with an Oscar.
He's really good.
So he's on Animal Control.
No, I forgot about that scene, and now I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, so and you just got a second dog, and so
go to whenDidTheDogDie.com or whatever the website is called in Chernobyl's.
Oh.
There's a real website for that, just in case. Just so you can brace yourself.
Yeah.
It won't bother me.
No, it will.
This one will.
No, this will. Yeah, so they're going house to house because the animals, they believe, are all irradiated and
all left behind.
Yeah, all left behind. So cutest dogs. It's like you just see he's like hesitating and like, I've got to shoot this beautiful animal, and he does, but he like hits it, and you just see this sad dog like bleeding, and then he's like, I can't freaking do it. And then his buddy, who's this like Uber soldier who's seen everything, just kind of, and then there's a scene where they go into
cut to burying them all or something like that.
No, because there's another scene in which because everyone has to be buried in concrete. Mm-hmm. Like the firefighters, they have to put them in lead coffins and then bury those in concrete so that they don't radiate out into the world. But he's Pavel's going to this other house, and he goes up into this upper story, and there's a mom dog with puppies.
They pull every heartstring.
Yes, that was.
But the thing about it
brutal.
is that happened.
Yeah.
Like, you go to think, like, an entire town of people's animals, you don't think that there was one pregnant dog with puppies, you know, that didn't need to get put down? Yeah, there probably was.
Yeah.
There probably was. This is probably really what happened.
Yeah.
It's just,
And then, you were talking, they had to, so there's this dump truck just full of dead animals that they're just pouring into this pit and just, so.
It's a heavy show, but at the same time, it is worth the watch, mostly because it's really, it's heartbreaking how it wasn't long ago.
Right.
Like you said, you were alive.
Yeah, exactly.
I wasn't alive, but I was almost alive.
You're close to close.
I was close. I was really close to alive.
Yeah, you were in an imagination. Yeah. It's
like this is in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Tragedy.
and it's incredible the stark contrast of what that era or that replicated era of Soviet technology and culture and stuff like that. Stuff like, is this the 40s of America or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
Like everything is hand done, wood paneling, everything still like just
aesthetically
off. Aesthetically just off.
This is a bad comparison. Just know
Okay.
this is a bad comparison.
Hot takes and streaming breaks. Yes.
You know how in Napoleon Dynamite you can't tell what era it's in?
Yes.
It is the exact same way with Chernobyl. You know it's in the late 80s. Your brain says it's in the late 80s because you know that's when it happened, but it looks like you said, 40s, 50s, maybe early 60s if you're generous.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
It is not.
Yeah. Now, Jared Harris, I believe?
Harris, yeah.
Yeah, and Stellan Skarsgård, incredible. Like so many amazing. Even the lead technician who's like guiding them down this terrible disaster, hyper arrogant. Incredible.
I was about to say the guy with the mustache, but I feel like there's a lot of mustaches in that show.
You would know. This guy. He's the one with the mustache. He actually passed away not that long after. Like last year.
Not great, not terrible.
Not 2021.
That's a famous quote.
Yeah. 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 And he's just God. And the lead nuclear technician in real life was 25 years old.
Yeah. These were kids.
Yeah.
These were kids.
Some of them were so. Incredible show, very heavy. I'm glad it's only 5 parts. It's just the right
exactly what it needed to be.
Yeah, it is exactly as long as it needs to be, and it just highlighted how fragile that system. When everything is led by the Communist Party, Gorbachev's on top, and like they just have to get the stuff done, and they can't let the world in because then that'll show how
fragile it is.
Yeah, that's why the theme of the story is like we have to tell lies to preserve ourselves because that's what this system is. So that leads directly into The Last of Us episode 5. Now I put on our thumbnail episode 4 made us snore.
I saw that.
Yeah,
The spiciest take there on the
that's
cover.
what we do. But this seemed to really pay off. No. Okay,
give us
Kelly.
your spicy take.
I
I just didn't like the whole story. I don't know. Like
You don't like plots.
I just thought it was just. I don't know. I thought it was just a little drug out.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It just didn't seem like it got better at the end of the episode. Like towards the end, whenever everything was really happening. But like just more of the stuff. It's like, okay, cool. We got a backstory, but like we're not going to really care about these characters. It just seemed like they just set up a bad guy to have a bad guy kind of thing. But then they reversed the roles of the bad guy was Henry, not the, I can't remember the lady's name.
Melinda, Kathleen?
Kathleen.
Yeah,
I think it was.
Yeah, she's
Kathleen.
technically not supposed to be the bad guy, but because it's Fedra's the bad guy.
Right.
And Henry was a narc, and Kathleen was trying to rise up against the Fedra,
Yeah.
So yeah. So I mean, it was like, okay, I get it, but then there was just seemed so much stuff that was like that they just kind of threw in there that didn't really close very well. I didn't think. I don't know. I was just a little upset with things. I was like, at the end, it became video gamey and everything like that. And I was like, okay, cool. So we're back to the video game.
Yeah. When Joel is up there with his bolt action gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the stuff that pissed me off so much. Was just like, dude, just put a bullet in her. Like, just end this, please. Like,
no drama. No drama. No comma drama.
But like, and then I mean, it's just. I just think that I just don't like that whenever they have that in anything. That Joel's set up to look like this guy that just is going to kill people to get what he needs to, and he just lets this happen. And I'm like, just end her really quick and let's move on. Like, we got zombies.
No, there's justice.
No, comma, justice.
We're going to get that on shirts. No. Yeah, I thought...
You guys thought differently? You guys liked it?
Do you want to play rock, paper, scissors and see who gets to go first?
Yeah, ready?
Okay, ready?
The best of three?
Are we going 1, 2, 3 shoot or 1, 2, 3 signal?
1, 2, 3 shoot.
Okay. 1, 2, 3
shoot.
This isn't working out. Okay.
No.
2 out of 3. Okay.
All right.
Well, okay.
All right.
You got it. It's
All
fine.
right.
You,
that's great.
You take it.
All right. That's fine.
I need a sip of water.
That's a great reason to just that's a really cool bottle. I thought compared to 4, like 3 was a high point. 4 was like we're really building this up, and I do agree with the we're building up all this backstory for these people that we're going to get rid of in a minute. So why bother? But in the context of a show where you can spend an episode or 2 or a mini arc exploring this stuff. That seems like the best format for it, because you don't have to have this villain that chases you through this entire thing, especially as they're going cross country. Mm-hmm. That doesn't seem realistic. But it does, I don't know, maybe it does seem like kind of arbitrary. Like we stopped in Kansas City and we lost Bill's truck. That's not coming back with us.
We lost our loot.
Yeah, and then here's the final level.
Just like a video game.
Right. No, and that's the thing. Like with that, the climax where they have the big fight because, the old dude was watching, had a crappy aim.
Yeah.
And Joel's just able to walk up on the dude and no scope him, and the radio, he'd been plugging away at the radio, letting everyone know, and so they're on the way, and they've got this bulldozer. Yeah. And all these cars are in the way, so the bulldozer just goes right through there, and then the zombies show up at the critically right moment when everything could be totally done, and she's like, "I'm gonna kill you." That's my Kathleen voice. I'm just gonna shoot all of you. You're all gonna be dead.
Yeah.
That's how it's going to work here.
Yeah, because that was the thing that pissed me off, is because she literally was like, nobody's going to survive. And Joel's just like, and Joel could hear just perfect. Like,
he's right there.
The whole conversation.
He's right there.
So as soon as she said, I'm not, like, nobody's going to be able to survive, then it's just like, okay, that's when you end her. As soon as she says, no, nobody's going to survive, boom, she would have been like lights out right there. And everybody would have been confused, and then they would have gone home. I'm just saying.
And then the zombies would have popped up.
Yeah, but that's on them.
Yeah, that was on them for burying them and whatever.
Yeah, see, that was the thing, is they didn't really explain that very well until that episode, right? They're like, Fedra like killed everything or did something, but like in episode 4, we saw there was something bubbling under the ground, right? And it's just like, the zombies, what did they do? Teleport, or were they like, because there's bubbling under the ground in
I think that was just another mass grave.
Okay, yeah, but it's just...
Well, they did talk about how there was a network underground.
Yeah, that was an episode.
They just so happened to pop out right there in front of...
that was convenient.
The truck like fell into the ground when it crashed into the house, though.
Yeah.
It fell into the sub-basement, just like the bubbling hole was in the last basement.
Yeah.
So it wasn't completely off base.
Yeah, it just seemed really weird that they have a boss in there, a bloater.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Yes.
Just waiting.
The named character that they have to kill, because they have to kill the NPC, the named NPC. They have to kill 50 zombies, and then they can take their fungus heads and then turn them in at the merchant and get like 500 experience points or something like that.
Yeah.
That was video gamey.
The show is video gamey, but it's a video game.
Yeah.
Guys.
I mean, I like that it's very video gamey. It's just, I just didn't like that episode 4 was so boring, and just for this.
It was a setup.
Yeah, and it's just the last little bit was like
The Last of Us.
no, it was just the last little bit of the episode.
Yeah.
Was decent. And
Yeah.
it's just like
That was the kind of the redeeming part of the whole thing was Ellie connecting with can't remember the kid's name.
why not? He's a big character for the rest of the show.
But
I want to say it was David.
no,
I could be.
Maybe
Maybe I just pulled
I
that
don't
out of thin
know.
air. I don't know.
I can't remember. Or was it like Sam or I don't remember.
Somebody.
Sam sounds right.
Yeah, it was like.
His
Then again, I said David, so who
was it
knows?
Bob?
Yeah.
It was yeah, Methuselah. Anyway,
Henry's brother.
there we go.
There we go. That's how
Henry's
you-
brother. There we go. We have well researched this, and I remember everything about this show. But when it's clear that he got bitten when they were under the car, and Ellie's like, "Don't worry, I've got magical healing blood.
Right.
Let's go." And then when wake up in the morning and he's sitting there on the corner of the bed, and I thought he was like faking it.
Yeah, that too, honestly,
Because you don't ever see his face.
Mm-hmm.
You don't ever see what's going on there
until he turns around.
Yeah, and then his brother has to shoot him, and then he's got his gun pointed at Joel, and Joel's like, "Hey man, be cool, and everyone saw it coming, and that was like, and it was the quickness of the brutality of all of that. Like they wrote themselves out of existence so quickly.
I think everybody saw it coming because if they know that the video game is just Joel and Ellie. That's the whole thing.
No, they could have added characters. This is a TV show. You can have multiple people, NPCs, going around with you.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as soon as that was the thing. As soon as Henry shot his brother, I was like, well, it's a wrap for Henry. Like I knew that he was gonna, because there's no way, because it was gonna be, even if it was Henry that was bitten, what are they gonna do? Bring Henry's brother with them?
Sure.
No, that doesn't happen in the video game. So they were both gonna die.
We have to get rid of two characters at once. How do we do it?
Yeah.
Because we can't have them wherever they're going next.
Yeah.
Since you saw episode 6?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
cool.
I'm caught up.
Okay.
I am caught up.
Yeah, I don't know. It's totally slipped my mind. Like there should be something I should be doing.
No, it's okay, because I forgot last week, because I watched it Friday, and then I was like, and then on Monday I was like, oh shit, got to watch Last of Us.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, we already did. It was on Friday.
Yeah.
So Super Bowl threw me off completely.
Yes.
Threw me off my game.
Yeah. They moved it that one time.
I know. And then I was
it's
sitting there expecting they should have just doubled the episodes. All that punishment for a Super Bowl. Jeez.
right. Yeah. But since it was a setup and payoff thing, or no, I guess not. Never mind, because it paid off before the Super Bowl, and then they set up something new for 6 or whatever the hell they're doing that we're not talking about yet.
Yeah. So then, what'd you think?
There's a reason I stayed quiet.
Okay.
You just agreed with both of us.
Isn't it great when they murdered everyone?
It's not that I disagree. This is why it's a hot takes podcast.
That's right.
The video gaming doesn't bother me as much as it bothers you guys. The predictability doesn't bother me either. Yeah, of course Henry was gonna take care of things. We got it. But that didn't bother me. And this could be just an audience difference problem. I've got my own kiddo. If I was in that position, how would I feel?
Yeah.
I look at Ellie, and granted, I'm a good 15 years older than her, but at the same time, I'm like, I get you. I get where you're coming from. I also get your need to, hang out with another little kid.
Yeah.
And go hang out in that little freaky underground playground that was there. And then I feel for that little boy, because then I think about my little boy. And so it makes me wonder if maybe it's just, audience interpretation.
Yeah.
That I really liked that episode. I actually thought it was one of the better ones.
I did too. Despite
the gaminess, because that to me wasn't, to me, that's just, cherry on top. That's just, something extra because of the show that it is. Mm-hmm. To me, it's like, I'm not going to hang my hat on, the zombie horde that's coming. That, I watched enough The Walking Dead, yeah, I'm pretty sure both in The Walking Dead and I Am Legend, we have some guy in the second floor of a Victorian house sniping zombies, like almost shot for shot in all three of these now.
Of course.
This isn't like a new concept, and it doesn't bother me because I guess maybe it feels more like homage, or maybe it feels like, a box that needs to be checked, and so it doesn't stand out to me as much. All of these said, I thought it was a much better character piece than we have seen so far. Not to mention, we've got a child actor who's speaking in sign language. I don't know if that character does in the game or not. Again, we haven't played the game.
I don't know. I don't even know if they're in the game.
I have no idea.
I know that they are both. I know that they are both in the game. I don't know if the sign language is in the game.
Gotcha.
But I love the representation that's in that. I thought that they handled it extremely well. I thought the way that they handled Ellie learning how to communicate with the little brother that I can't remember his name either. I thought that was done really well, and was pleased to see all of that. I was pleased to see Ellie being a kid, because I think in the show she's supposed to be 14. I think the actress is 17, maybe. Mm-hmm. I really liked it as far as a character piece. Yeah, did I think that the ending was predictable? Yeah, sure. But to me, that just falls into the category of, it's a video game.
Yeah.
And so that's just not something that bothers me so much.
Because I liked in 4 whenever... Was it 4? Yeah, I think at the beginning of 4, whenever Ellie's like reading those jokes, right?
The dad jokes.
Oh my gosh, so good.
And that's to me that was like, okay, like she's a kid, right? So that's where I saw it, and I get like in this one where they're gonna show like just a kind of a different side like
Sure.
of Ellie and Joel, right? It's kind of like mirroring that, but just kind of different people. Like this guy's a narc and Joel's not, right? And like so you kind of
he probably killed narcs, is my guess.
Yeah.
So you have this like opposite but similar
Yeah.
thing that they're doing, right? And so but I was kind of like, I guess just because I knew like the reason why I really liked 3 is I was like, oh, I thought they were setting up 3 as like, oh, these people like Joel and whatever her name go back and see them multiple times, and they're going to be Tess, yeah. Like that. This is going to be like a checkpoint or like a faction and everything like that. So I was like, okay, I'm really invested in these characters because of that. And then like of course, then they ended it. So that's why I was just like, okay, well, these characters aren't going to be around anymore. So I don't.
Well, part of me wonders if if setting the bar so high with that 3rd episode maybe wasn't a disservice for the rest of the season, because we did get this. I mean, we are so bombarded by prestige television. When you've got
not as much anymore. They're canceling everything and murdering everyone. Yeah.
When you've got episode 3 that isn't video gaming, that's pure character development, that is so high quality, and then you kind of have to get back to business, I feel like that's probably pretty tough for a lot of viewers. Maybe even feels like a bit of whiplash.
Like a downshift.
Yeah, maybe that's why we hated 4 so much. Maybe that's why we're not, real jazzed with episode 5. Because we're still kind of coming off that high. We could see where this show could be, but maybe it shouldn't be that way the entire season. You can't tell the entire season like that. Or maybe you can. It's really just my guess. My other question, do any of y'all know how long the season's supposed to be?
That's a question I don't think we've answered since the last time we asked this.
We keep asking.
I do wonder, though, based on that premise, and I know this is an HBO thing anyway, they've been doing it for decades, what if they had dropped everything at once versus releasing it weekly?
No, I think that would have been better, actually. I think if you were able to binge watch it versus having this cliffhanger in episode 4, and then to me it wasn't that big of a payout, like
or wasn't nearly that much of a cliffhanger.
Yeah, but I mean just to drag this kind of episode, like it's the show like is following Joel and Ellie. We don't need to have this 2-episode arc where I have to wait like more than a week. It wasn't even. It was a week and 2 days.
A week and 2.
So it was like
unsustainable.
Gosh darn.
Yeah, so it was like it wasn't a good payoff for me versus like I liked 3 was good. Like if 3 was over multiple episodes, that would have been good, right? Like if they had them plus they showed some more Joel and Tess coming to visit and helping fortify the stuff and kind of building up Joel, like getting used to Bill and Frank and like kind of bonding and everything like that.
Yeah.
Versus 4 and 5 together as 2 separate episodes, which could have been just condensed down to one. Okay, hey, Fedra's here, and okay, we're trying to get out of here. Let's go. All that stuff like that. I think would have been better.
But I also don't think 3 would have gotten the attention it did if it was all at once too.
Yeah.
I think it was just like, here's this one.
That is possible.
That's true. Yeah.
It makes me wonder, because we know Craig Mason is doing it. The guy that wrote the video game is still writing it. I can't remember his name now.
Neil Druckmann.
Neil Druckmann. Thank you. It makes me wonder if there was somebody else involved in that 3rd episode. Because it does feel like, 1 and 2 and then 3 was great and then now we're back. It makes me wonder if maybe there was some other factor in that 3rd one that caused, that storyline to be so standout.
12 years. I think that's what I think, because they wrote that game, back in 08, 09, 10 or something like that, when they were practically children. And now, it's 2023, so they can
tell those stories now.
They're more mature, exactly,
Good point.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. In 700 more episodes, we're going to be 7-Eleven. Oh, thank heaven. This podcast is going to be so mature. They're going to be playing this at Harvard. Like, some instructor is going to step out into the into the lecture hall and be like, "All right, robotic children, he sets down a boom box.
I can't make a Tar reference because y'all haven't seen Tar yet.
I know. Ugh. I'm hoping in the next so in the preview we're gonna try and knock down as many Best Picture nominations for the Oscars by next episode. We don't have to watch them all, but we have to try. We've already got Top Gun and Avatar 2.
Because I know you two need to see Tar.
All right. Where's it at?
Online. I think I got it on Amazon Prime, I want to say.
It's on the internet.
It's online.
It's on the information.
But because and that's all I want to say.
Okay, it's on the internet.
Yeah, and then we'll talk about it.
You've told me more.
Is the part of the
Don't look too close to the credits. That's all I'll say. Don't look too close to the credits.
Zach Galifianakis is in it.
Zach Galifianakis is in it. Lilo makes
He's in a Stitch costume.
Cameo from Zach.
Between two aliens, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Talk all about him.
We talked about a bunch of stuff. Did you guys have anything else that we did not get to before we get the heck out of here?
It's still a good show.
Yeah.
Even when it's not so great, it's still a good show.
Yeah. But I am still, it's hitting that vibe of like, man, I have seen this before with however many seasons of Walking Dead.
I just think that it's a little bit more fresh. I just think having a fresh take, because I talked about this last time, but like Walking Dead just got repetitive and boring. Every season there's a new bad guy and we resolve it and then whatever. This is like just kind of like, I think just a fresher take, and it seems like in knowing HBO is not going to linger on things, that it's going to be sped up a little bit.
It's like if you could get a conveyor line and you just get fed one chicken nugget at a time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sounds great.
I was going to say, if we really, really want to think about how great this is as modern, go watch that Zack Snyder zombie film that he did that's based in Vegas.
Oh.
And definitely look for that dead pixel in the middle of the camera for literally half of the movie.
I didn't even see it. I know it was there, but I didn't see it.
I saw it in the first 30 seconds.
I can't remember what it was called. It was something of the dead.
Bank heist?
Or
that was the bank heist one,
Land
right?
of the Dead. Field of the Dead.
It was
Town of the Dead.
Metropolis of the Dead. Berg of the Opolis of the Bergopolis. Yeah.
Hamlet of the Dead.
Yeah, but it was terrible.
It's terrible.
Terrible movie. Awful movie.
Yeah.
High production value.
Which means we have to
Terrible
watch
everything
it.
Else.
Yeah, we have to watch it and have a page of notes each and be like, this is why this
movie
is
so
trash.
That felt like a video game, that movie.
It also felt like rubbing trash in my face.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, I think I knew going
Greasy
into that
trash.
what that was going to be about.
About being awful.
The previews like made it look like you knew like it was gonna be awful.
Yeah, like we've put you in this level.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
we're-
I was totally expecting that level of like not a good movie.
Yeah.
and it lived up to that. It was
So you're
very
like, this
cheesy,
is
very
best
everything.
movie of the year, basically.
Well, no, I just knew
Met
what it was.
expectation. Okay.
Yeah. So just based on talking about zombie stuff, so Z Nation reading about Asylum just because they're terrible, right? Asylum films,
Uh-huh.
and I remember, was it last year? I think it was, or the year before. I got suckered into checking out Z Nation, and I was like, "Why is this show so bad?" And they like made that look like it was going to be a good show, and it was just terrible. And then like just last night it was like, "Oh, it's made by Asylum." No wonder.
Oh,
Yeah.
they intend. Yeah.
Because I think I watched like 4 episodes of Z Nation, and I was like, maybe it's gonna get better, and it never does. And then it's like, oh yeah, it's because it's Asylum Films. That does
Okay.
it.
I legitimately think folks in our age range are just burnt out entirely with zombies. I think we got so beat over the head
Yeah.
between the year like 2005 and apparently right now that it's just hard.
Well, it's post-pandemic, and that's the thing. That was so. I watched.
We
We're
just
gonna
need
get out of here.
Zombies to happen. For
There was
real.
there was a
So we're prepared. We're prepared for them.
We are. There was a YouTube essayist, Skip Intro, who was like, one thing about the game is that the spores are airborne, so you actually have to put on a mask. And now they bite you in the show. They bite you, Kels. They
Yeah,
bite
I
you.
felt it, yeah.
Yeah. But they changed it, and it seemed like a very thing to do because we were wearing masks everywhere for a couple years there between today and when the game
Well,
came
you also
out.
can't have character development when everybody's wearing a mask. You can't. That's the whole point of that. Like, and they do that with other shows too. Well, there's.
Like space shows and stuff where they put the stupid lights underneath the jaw of the helmet so that you can see it, but no one would ever have these big bright LEDs in their face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it was The Walking Dead. So like, there's like the last season. There's a faction that wears masks until they become a main talking character, and then they never wear the mask again. Like they've got it always on their hip, but because it's like you can't like have a character.
really hard,
Like
yeah.
the Mandalorian's the only one. Really that have it where you've got this character, but even then
That was actually a point. They didn't. His gag was they didn't want a second show where Pedro Pascal is in behind a mask. I think his face.
Yeah, but it's like if you have a mask on, it's really hard to have any kind of character
It is.
development. Yeah, so it's like they're gonna always have to have scenes when they're talking, and they have to take off the mask, even if it's dangerous. So
Yeah.
just get rid of that completely, and then you can easily film people and see emotions. You don't have to worry about stuff in their
CGI.
face and everything like that.
All tears are just CGI these days.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like you can see like micro expressions and everything. You know,
That makes sense.
can't see that with glares. Glares on the mask.
Lens flares.
Yeah, you can't see those faces.
No J.J. Abrams production. That's why he hasn't done any TV in a while. All right, cool. Well, you want to get out of here?
Let's
Sure.
get out of here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for those listening or watching at home or wherever you're at, you might be in a car, in traffic or something, listening to the hot takes and stream breaks. Thank you. Be sure to like and subscribe and all that fun social media stuff. If you have a comment or a question, or you'd like to tell us we're right or tell us we're wrong, whatever, or whatever, we might address it on the air. Send an email to podcast@6035media.org. That's 60 spelled out, SIXTY. And put hot take somewhere in the subject line. Helps us keep track of that stuff. 6035 podcasts are listener supported. If you like what we're doing, become a member. Visit 6035membership.org. Again, that's 60 spelled out. Be sure to check out our weekly news show, The 6035, with executive editor Brian Grossman and managing editor Helen Lewis. And join us next episode of this show where we eat an entire cheese wheel while reciting the alphabet backwards. We'll have some hot takes for you then, too.